Hello and welcome to Module 2. Starting Module 2 means that you've successfully completed Module 1, so congratulations on that. I know this format takes a little bit getting used to. You've probably, even if you've had an online class before, you've probably never had such a self-directed online class where really the course amounts to you going through the material on your own. I'm hopefully providing some guidance and kind of directing you in terms of what you should be getting out of it. But a lot of the work, it's really put on you. So I know this is a different experience for a lot of you. It's going to take a little getting used to for everybody. But if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to use me as a resource. I'm available. I'm still your instructor, even though we're not meeting on a day-to-day basis. But I am online quite often, and I know a number of you have utilized the chat function, which is a great way of getting in touch with me. You can also welcome to use that discussion space that I have available for course questions that maybe other students are going through as well. And you're also, of course, always welcome to shoot me an email or even call me or stop by if you happen to be on campus. As we go through each of these modules, my expectations for each module will always be found in the instruction list that you'll find as a PDF document within each module itself. So just a brief little recap of Module 1. I was really pleased to see all the discussion that was developed out of especially that second discussion question on your grocery shopping habits. We saw everything from discussions on private label brands to your habits to sort of how we develop these habits. We talked a little bit about differences in U.S. consumption as compared to consumption habits worldwide, a little bit about our preferences and that sort of thing. And really the point of all of this is to first illustrate the fact that we are all impacted by the ag and food marketing system. Our choices that we have available to us in the grocery store are a result of this ag marketing system that food products go through. We're also influenced, whether we realize it or not, by advertising, by promotion, by packaging, and we saw some of that come up in the discussion. We'll develop these ideas further as we move through the course, but hopefully this introductory module kind of gave you a broad overview of the ag marketing system, and then hopefully you got a chance to at least think a little bit about how this marketing system affects you and your daily choices. So as we move into Module 2 is about, well, it's basically a review of microeconomics, which means it's rather difficult to do that in an online format. It's probably best suited for lecture, typical whiteboard discussions. But again, we're using this course in a self-directed fashion, so I'm moving away from having you guys listen to an hour of me talking about supply and demand. So what I've done instead is put a number of readings on here on the module for you. This should all be review for you. It's nothing new. Basic microeconomics was a prerequisite for this course, so I'm expecting that you have all seen this before. You're fairly comfortable with it. We just maybe need to review a couple concepts. The three main points that I want you to get out of this review, the first one is really the basics of supply and demand. We need to realize that demand is downward sloping, supply is upward sloping, it's graphed on a price quantity space. We should also be fairly comfortable with the differences between a shifter in supply and demand and a movement along those curves. The second thing I want you to be comfortable with is elasticities. What they mean, what it means for, say, elasticity of demand. You should be particularly comfortable with a price elasticity of demand, how to calculate it, and then what it means for the slope of the demand curve. And we will transition that into figuring out and determining what that means for the ag marketing system. Then the third point that we need to be all comfortable with is market structures. The textbook particularly is going to be a great resource for this aspect of this microeconomic review in terms of the differences in market structures, whether it's a monopoly, oligopoly, or if we're operating in perfect competition. We've got a number of different marketing structures that exist throughout this ag marketing channel, and understanding what those structures imply in terms of competition, in terms of pricing ability, is really going to be key to understanding how and why this ag marketing system operates the way it does. So those are the 3 points that I want you to get out of this microeconomic review. As we move into the discussions in your journal entry for this particular module, I'm really going to be asking you to look for examples of how those 3 aspects impact this ag and food marketing system. What do they mean? What does a particular elasticity mean in the context of this marketing system? And then within your viewpoint article, I found an opinion article that I think with these tools that you've now harnessed in terms of these microeconomic tools, you should be able to provide an opinion, provide an argument as to whether you support or disagree with this particular gentleman's opinion. So that's where we're going with Module 2. Again, it's kind of a difficult one. It's not as conducive to this sort of format, but I still think that we've put together a pretty good module. I'm excited for you to go through it, and I will look forward to reading your discussions, staying up with your journals, and reading those viewpoint arguments. So again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with me, and I will see you online.